In the 1960s, Sir Walter Hayes changed the face of Grand Prix racing. With some delicate lobbying of the Ford Motor Company right here in Detroit, Hayes convinced Ford to bankroll the development of the Cosworth DFV engine. From Jim Clark at Zandvoort in 1967 to Michele Alboreto here in Detroit in 1983, this engineering masterpiece produced 155 Grand Prix victories for Detroit's great marque. Welcome to Grand Prix Legends, live from Motor City here in Detroit. I'm Peter Mackay, and I'm privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Now, this Belle Isle circuit is certainly a tricky one, particularly in open-wheel racing cars. Here is our Global SimRacing channel track guide to show you the way around.
Welcome to the Belle Isle Street Circuit. Situated in a beautiful park on Belle Isle itself, it rests in the Detroit River, sandwiched between the Motor City and Canada. With it being in the far north of the Midwestern United States, as you'd expect, harsh winters make this a bone-jarringly bumpy track. It's most known for IndyCar's yearly visit, but has also seen IMSA hold rounds here lately. The 14 narrow corners only add up to a mere 2.3 miles in length, but it can tend to feel like a lot more just from the sheer stress of keeping your car out of the walls. Runoff is non-existent in the majority of corners, so mistakes tend to be punished with race-ending damage. The dangers include the tight and twisty fountain section with its rapid-fire set of bends, and the frightening turns 12 and 13, which end the lap with two swift kinks. However, the most notorious spot on the track is the exit of Turn 2, made famous by collecting the Corvette pace car into its hungry walls one year. The first two turns are a quick chicane, so the extreme change of direction, plus the rise in the track as it crosses over a creek, means grip and balance can disappear in an instant. While the setup of the car can sometimes help lessen the annoyance of the bumps a little, what this place all comes down to is driver skill and daring. Precision will pay off with the close proximity of the barriers. While it isn't a stroll in the park for drivers, fans get to enjoy the beauty of the scenery, all while watching some of the most thrilling racing an American street course has to offer.
So there you are then, that's our little track guide all about this wonderful Belle Isle circuit. Ryan, welcome to the Global SimRacing channel commentary box. Great to be joining you again. Why don't you tell our viewers all about this wonderful street circuit and the challenges that the drivers will face today?
Oh, aye, absolutely, I can do that. Yeah, this track is located in downtown Detroit, and the track is 2.35 miles in length. And the track has a bit of history as well. It's hosted the Rolex Sports Car Series, formerly known as the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship now. It's hosted Grand Am in the past, the old American Le Mans Series. It's also hosted the Indy Racing League and Indy Lights, and a whole range of other series. But today it will be the host to the Grand Prix Legends Series. And yeah, some little facts about the track as well. And yeah, it's got a bumpy nature to the track. You've got the close walls. And it's one of those tracks that invites you to push, but if you push too much or make a mistake, the walls will be there to bite you. So these drivers are going to have to be very wary and just think about how they're going to go about this race.
Indeed. So we are here at round 7 of a 12-race championship. We will be going for 24 quick laps around this street circuit from a standing start. Now, critically here in the Grand Prix Legends series with the Lotus 49, we have an open setup, and as we'll talk about throughout the broadcast, being able to set up this Grand Prix machine correctly is vitally important, perhaps more important than any other car on the iRacing simulator service. If any of the drivers take 17 incident points, they will be given a penalty, and 25 they'll be disqualified. But as you will see, even just one tiny mistake will see the drivers' races over, given the nature of this circuit. Looking at the championship standings, it's the Ridge, Mick Claridge, leading the way by 20 points from Rafael Dorado, with Ovi Trengerade in third. Rob Olnejak is in fourth, and Alessandro Parigi is in fifth. Ryan, how are the F2 and the Nation Cup standings looking?
So in the F2 Championship, it's currently Finland's Jan Lehmann leading the way, but yeah, Japan's Togo Hasada is only 5 points behind, so it's still really close at the top in the F2 Championship. Rounding at the top three is Germany's Andre Schumacher, with Dave Colin from the United States in fourth. And rounding out the top five is Paul Foster from Australia. So the F2 Championship is still really close at this stage of the season, and it's still all to play for.
Fantastic stuff. So our drivers just at the moment getting ready for qualifying, a solo qualifying session, so they don't need to worry about any kind of problems like that. Let's take a quick look at the Nations Cup standings. The nation at the moment, it's Brazil. Well, Ayrton Senna won 3 times here in Detroit at the old Renaissance Center circuit in the late 80s, and well, Brazil leading the way, but just by 8 points from the United Kingdom. In third is the United States of America, fourth is Norway, and fifth are our Scandinavian cousins over in Finland. So, who is going to set pole position here at Belle Isle at Detroit? This is a real precision circuit, very, very bumpy, and you'll see the exposed suspension of these Lotus 49s working incredibly hard as they bump and bash their way around this very, very narrow circuit. Not too much undulation to worry about here, but huge amounts of bumps. Makes Sebring look like a snooker table.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. It's one of those tracks. It's one of my favourite tracks in iRacing, and it's like I said at the start of the broadcast, it's one of those tracks that invites you to go quicker and quicker and quicker, but also on the other hand, you've kind of got to play it cautiously a little bit and just take it easy and not make any mistakes, because like you say, if you make a mistake, there's nowhere for you to go apart from into the wall. But at the moment in qualifying, it's Rafael Dorado at the top of the timesheets in qualifying, and yeah, he's been pretty much the most improved driver of the season so far, and he came so close to taking a win at motorsport, but unfortunately he got beat yet again by Mick Claridge.
Well, no sign of Mick Claridge today, so it looks like Rafael Dorado, he's laying down the pace right now, a 1 minute 26.351. That is mighty impressive lap time indeed from these machines. And also on Ollie Trengeride, sitting in second place right now, just half a second off the pace, so quite a bit of gap between those guys at the moment. And of course, here at Belle Isle, Ryan, there's not a great amount of overtaking opportunities. The main one is here when the drivers get to the end of Central Avenue into turn 3, a very long braking zone, so you've got a good chance to make a move there.
Absolutely, and there's another possible passing place as well, but you kind of have to be close to the car in front of you or be alongside. The only other place I can think of you can make a move is turn 7, so it's the only real passing opportunities you've got around here. And apart from that, it's pretty much you're in single file most of the time. Just you can't really make any risky moves, otherwise it just ends up in disaster.
Yeah, indeed, and of course, as you can see, of course, the drivers have got a view out to the front wheels and of course the nose cone, and you can see you can easily place the front wheels of the car. However, as you can see from this shot here, the rear of the car is much wider than the front, so we need to watch for that. The drivers need to give that a little bit extra room when they're going for overtaking manoeuvres. As Marco Kika comes over the line, a 128.5 for him, and he goes 15. So we're about done for this qualifying session, and we'll be about ready to go here at beautiful Belle Isle, an island that sits in the Detroit River, 982 acres in size, and home to America's largest, home to America's oldest aquarium that was built in 1904.
Yeah, absolutely. It just looks like we've still got some drivers on track completing the lap, but as just watching Chris Hengler now coming around the final couple of corners and onto the home straight. It's kind of straight, but it's not at the same time. You've got this little count K who's coming through now, and he's coming across the line now, and it looks like he might improve. He does, a 129.8, and that puts him up into P18.
So So let's see Cohen going for Dave Cohen here from Illinois. Trying to lay down a lap time here in the number 20 car. What can he do? Comes over the line. 129.973. That puts him in 19th spot. So qualified about, where are we? We've got 26 runners so far who have set a time. 4 other drivers still trying to lay down a lap time.
As Andre's coming up. Just watching the Massa at the moment, but it looks like he doesn't look like he's got time to complete his lap. So unfortunately, that's out of time in qualifying.
Okay, so let's take a look at how they line up then for the 7th round of the Grand Prix Legends Championship. On pole position is the number 2 of Rafael Dorado alongside Ove Trengeride. Mikko Leino will be alongside Rob Olinik. On row 3 will be Sebastian Tizier alongside Yuri Geisen. Row 4 will be Alessandro Parigi alongside Togo Hisada. And row 5 will be Jana Lehmann and Colin Bentley. Ryan.
Starting in 11th is GSRC's very own colleague Stefan Slacker in 11th. 12th is Antonio Rees. Marco Kika is in 13th with John Olsen in 14th. Chris Kamikaze Marakami in 15th. Eric Luco in 16th. 17th going to Laus Olsen. Chris Engler in 18th. 19th is Dave Cohen. And rounding out the 20 is Randy Huff.
I love that. Kamikaze, that's a nickname I don't know if you ever want to get. Michael Griesinger will start from 21st alongside Jean Van Dorn in 22nd. Row 12 will have Douglas Nelson and Hideki Kavisto. Andrew Eng and Kyle Graham occupy row 13, followed by Taiki Miyamoto, Eugenie Massa, Robert Reynolds and Daniel Paskey. A 30-car grid here at Detroit Belle Isle. It's going to be tight, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this race. I'm kind of scared but excited at the same time for what's about to happen. But I think we'll still get a great race nevertheless, and just waiting for the lights to come on, and we'll be underway.
We will, and why don't we have a shameless Scottish plug, Ryan? Because our countryman Dario Franchitti won here back in 1999 in the Reynard Honda, and I believe that was the same year that he bought his Ferrari F40 as a treat.
Yep, I remember that as well, watching that as a kid, and yeah, Dario Franchitti, one of my heroes in IndyCar, along with the Rocket Rick Mears.
Indeed, and do you know what? I don't know what I'm more jealous of, Ryan, is Dario Franchitti's car collection or his haircut. I'd love to have long locks like that, but sadly my hair is falling out, so hence why I'm behind the microphone rather than in front of the camera. So the drivers are all snaking their way back right round as oh, now here we go. Green, off at Detroit. And it is a good start from Rafael Dorado in the number 2. Getting through here cleanly. Very, very important. Avoiding any incidents. Great respect from all the drivers so far. Giving each other plenty of room to get through the tricky snake section of turn 1 and turn 2. Down they go. Down Central Avenue towards turn 3. Going to be some moves on the brakes here.
Looks like we've got some moves being made into turn 3. Oh, Train in the wall!
Oh, dearie. That was always a danger. Trengerade and into the wall at turn 3. But no such problem for Dorado in the number 2. And he's really laying down the law here. Really putting down some pace, heading up towards Central Avenue. Through Picnic Way and then onto Strand Drive. Past the Detroit River they go. Hard on the brakes. Really tricky braking zone here. And then tucking it into the right. And he's started off this Grand Prix perfectly. Yeah,
absolutely. Dorado made the perfect start and he managed to get away. And he's leaving basically the rest of the field behind him, scrapping amongst themselves at the moment. And second place is Marco Lino from Finland. And it looks like behind him we've got Rob Olenek.
Yep, Rob Olenek doing a great job in that. I have to say, I love that the Tiger paint scheme. Oh, it's a big crash. Big crash. And that's Michael Griesinger's had a problem. My apologies. Sebastian Tizier, sorry, had a spin, and that has wiped a number out. John Olenek is out as well.
Yeah, but not even. Well, basically, never even made the lap 1, and it's all kicking off.
This is Mikko Lino that has a spin in the number 6 car, heading up towards the end of the lap here. Into turn 12, a very, very tricky right-hander, wall on the outside, he just loses it, and then Olenek just follows him in. Ah, what a shame. Well, we said it was always going to be a danger, Ryan, and yeah, you make the slightest mistake, and those walls are there to bite you.
But it looks like it might have just been a case of maybe some of these drivers being caught out by possibly cold tyres, or just maybe trying to carry too much corner speed and just being caught out and just losing the rear. But yeah, all this is allowing Dorado just to pull way up at the front and extend that gap. And he's got a gap already up to about seconds.
Dorado, this is a circa 2011 Sebastian Vettel performance already. He's opened up a big gap in the early stages, and look at this, Stefan Schlacker, the Austrian ace. Look at him in the number 9 car. He is up to 5th place from outside of the top 10, so he's made a great start, profited from a few guys crashing in front, but made a really good start to this race. He wasn't overly confident about his chances going into the race, but so far, going very well for him.
Yeah, I don't know what he's done, Stefan. I don't know if he's had loads of Red Bull before the start, but he's made a fantastic start up into 5th place at the moment, and he's putting Italy's Alessandro Parigi under huge pressure.
Yes, indeed. Well, of course, if he's obviously just supporting his local produce. Of course, Red Bull being an Austrian drink, it's like us drinking Tennent's Lager, Ryan.
Well, I don't drink that stuff because it tastes horrible, but each them run.
I thought we were friends, Ryan. I got a nice cold pint of Tennent's Lager. It just when it sometimes just hits the spot. But anyway, we'll come to a common ground on one drink somewhere. Right. So Dorado, he is leading by Tizier, who just got through that wreck, nearly got caught, but just slipped through. Now 5.5 seconds behind, and Geisen up to 3rd as well. So this is Dorado's race to lose, but 24 laps around here, Ryan, mistake-free, is a whole new challenge all in itself.
Yeah, it's such a difficult track to go or to get around without hitting the wall or clipping the wall. It's I've done a couple of races during the week in Skip Barber, and trying to stay away from the walls is just nigh on impossible, just because you want to push, but if you push too much, you'll clip the wall. And yeah, I have to say, Yuri Geisen, he had a great race at Motorsport, finished on the podium, and again he's in 3rd place after starting in 6th position. So a great run so far. Hopefully he can keep it clean and get another podium finish.
Indeed, yeah, and I mean, if you look at the lap time, goodness me, Dorado last time around a 1:26.9, his best. Tizier 1:27.8, Geisen 1:28.4. So Dorado is in his own universe right now here at Detroit, and really the only guy that will be able to beat him is himself.
Yep, absolutely. It's like the old saying goes when it comes to racing or sim racing as well. When you're out by yourself, you're basically racing yourself to try and get to the end of the race. But at the moment, it just seems to have settled down ever so slightly in the field, and it's all calm at the moment.
So far, anyway, it is going so smoothly for Dorado. 4 laps into this 24-lap encounter. So we're going to look at the battle for P8. This is between Rice, Kika, and Murakami. And there's Chris Murakami in the that is a striking paint scheme on that car, the red and white machine. I can now see where he gets his nickname from, and I can see where that comes from. And Ryan, I can imagine the sight of that car coming up in your mirrors is enough to put the fear of death into you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've raced against Chris in the past a few times in the SRF, and yeah, he's a hard racer. He's a clean racer, but he's a hard racer at the same time. And I think his nickname, the Kamikaze, just comes from some of the bold moves that he's pulled off in the past. So, but he's having a good run in the top 10, sitting in 9th position at the moment, and putting Marco Kika under pressure. But behind him, he's got Eric Luco as well to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Eric Luco looming very large in the mirrors here now. He jinked a little bit. Thought he was maybe going to have a look there, but this is what we're talking about. This is nostalgia here, isn't it? We're on board with Eric Luco. Look at that lovely red rim steering wheel, beautiful. You see the suspension. Look how hard that suspension's having to work around here at Detroit, and they come through the picnic way. Oh, this is certainly no picnic, threading one of these cars around with well, at the time, what must have felt like a space shuttle engine. You know, the Cosworth DFV, this was the first car to house the legendary Cosworth DFV, the Lotus 49, and With all that power, 400 horsepower in a car that weighs just over 500 kilograms, it must have been quite a handful at the time.
Absolutely, and took it sideways.
Oh, dearie me. Well, I jumped there, I'm sure he did. Whew, that was close. That was very, very close. And of course, any small moment you don't have to have a big moment here. Just one brush with the wall and you've lost the wheel or bent your suspension or whatever, and that's race done. And we've already seen a large number of the drivers. Well, you see all of the drivers outside of the top 20, all multiple laps down. So let's have a look again at Stefan Schlacker, who's really getting his elbows out. He's in 5th place and he's on the move. He's trying to get past Parigi here, with Hesada not too far behind. Parigi going very defensive here, covering the inside line. Big lock up. Oh, is Schlacker going to get by? Looks like he is. Yes, he does. So Parigi goes straight on and loses a whole bunch of places. So how do you see this one, Ryan?
Yeah, just about to look at the replay now, and it looks like Parigi went to the inside to defend his line, and he just locked the front wheels up, and he had to let the car run wide, otherwise he might have spun into the wall. But Steph, he was just showing his nose there, just showing that he was there, and Parigi, I think, just got distracted and allowed Steph up to gain another position, up into 4th position at the moment. So a great run from Stefan.
Indeed. So let's have a look here at Murakami and Luco battling over 8th place, and Luco right on his gearbox there, nearly sticking the nose in the gearbox there of that 17 car into the 3 car of Murakami. And they come around through turn 12 and down towards turn 13. Really tricky section here. There's a horrible bump on the inside there, which really sends the car off course if you're not careful. And then you get back on the power, and this is where you get a big slide on as you ask for all of those 400 horsepower of that Cosworth DFV engine. Through they go then to lap 7 of this 24-lap race, so nearly 1/3 distance. Now, Stefan Schlacker, his best lap time of 1:28.3. So he's got about the same pace as Geisen, although he was a second slower last time around. But he does have the same ultimate pace. So Schlacker, if he can keep going and get back into a rhythm, he's got an opportunity to get a podium here.
Quite possibly, but also on the other hand, Schlacker needs to keep an eye on him, because he's got Hesada right behind him, and closing up on them as well is Antonio Ruiz. So it could be on for a 3-car battle for 4th place.
Indeed, and absolutely. Hesada, actually, his outright best lap is actually a touch quicker than Schlacker, so this is going to be fascinating to watch who is going to get the better of this. And Stefan, he was, like we say, he was underplaying his chances, but I think this is going much better than he expected. He's doing a great job here in 4th place at the moment, but this is the kind of closest group on the track right now. So let's see, is Hesada going to prepare a move here? He's certainly close enough if he can hang with Steph here, going through turn 12 and 13, and then down into turn 1. Oh, oh dear. Oh, I feel like I've cursed him there. Oh no. Oh, Ryan, it was going so well.
Yeah, Stefan was having a great run, and unfortunately he just, as like I said before, if you push ever so slightly or push too much ever so slightly, the walls are there to bite you, and unfortunately Steph found that out.
Oh, that was a tiny mistake, big consequences. So let's look at Rafael Dorado. I mean, this is impressive. I mean, this car is not an easy car to handle. It's certainly not an easy car to set up. There's a lot of very complicated bits and pieces. It is a Grand Prix car after all, so very complicated machine. But Rafael Dorado mastering it here on the streets of Belle-Isle, Detroit. He's putting on a bit of a masterclass here, Ryan.
Absolutely, he's just doing what he needs to do. He's hitting his marks, hitting the corners every time, and he's just putting in a great performance at the moment. And with no McLarens here this afternoon, this is his best opportunity to take his first win of the season. As they've got the battle for P8 going on between Murakami and Parigi.
Oh, this is very close. So Parigi, remember, he's recovering after that mistake at turn 3 at the end of Central Avenue. So he's probably got a touch more pace. So let's see if he can make that count. Rafael Dorado puts in another fast lap as the fuel burns off. These cars burn off their fuel incredibly quickly. There's a lot. They're not the most economical machines, but that means that you're losing weight all the way through the race, and the car is getting quicker and quicker and quicker. So let's see if Parigi can get past Murakami here. Parigi's best lap is at the moment 128.2. Murakami's best lap of 128.8. So a tiny bit of pace in hand for Parigi, but he's got to make the move stick. He's got to get by, which is a lot easier said than done here at Detroit.
Yeah, and his best opportunity of making a move, excuse me, making a move on Murakami is if he gets close enough heading down to turn 3, which we're just going through now, and possibly turn 7 if he gets close enough. But it's a bit of a risky corner to pass there. So he's getting closer, Parigi, by the looks of it.
He is, yeah. He's starting to ask the questions, isn't he, Parigi? And he's got that kind of yellow and black checked pattern on the nose, the crash test dummy pattern. Again, another thing you don't want to see in your rear view mirror. But I tell you what, Murakami's getting a great drive out of the slow corners, and that's allowing him to protect his lead down the straight. So that's one major overtaking opportunity blocked. But here goes Parigi. This would be a big move to have a look here. But he's right on the gearbox, and you just got to try and maintain the pace and not try and make a move where there isn't really an opportunity for one. You've got to be very smart here on the streets of Detroit. Yeah,
it's one of those tracks that you've got to plan a move, and you can't just make a move straight away. You've got to plan it. If you try anything risky, it just ends up in disaster, especially around a track such as Belle Isle, just with the wall being so close. But it looks like Parigi's possibly got... Oh, is it Murakami's clipped the wall? Whoa!
Oh, he's really gone in straight into pit lane there. Goodness me, that was a big one there for Murakami. So let's get a replay on board with Kamikaze Murakami. Round he comes then, round the final corner. Just a little bit of, just the tiniest contact with the wall. Oh, he gets a punt up the back there.
Yeah, if I get Parigi clipped him ever so slightly as he went by, and unfortunately Chris Murakami, as I try and get my words out, just clipped the wall and he was just a passenger.
That's the pit lane resembling a bit of a junkyard right now, with some very smashed up, very exotic cars in there as well. So here to the 6th place, Marco Kika, the Flying Finn, holding off Eric Leukel in the number 17 machine. Lovely green and white coloured car there. So this is, as we expected, Ryan, this has been a race of attrition up to this point.
Yeah, pretty much so, and some drivers starting to make mistakes, maybe just through losing a bit of concentration, or maybe with like any street circuit, maybe fatigue starting to kick in, so it's maybe just playing a factor here.
Yeah, of course, these cars are so busy, you're having to make, it doesn't really show up as much on the camera, but you're really having to make a lot of inputs into the steering wheel all the time to keep the cars moving and keep them keep the speed up. But Kika driving a very strong race at the moment, as we see one car coming out of pit lane there. Hopefully that won't unsight him too much, and then he does carry on without too much problem. So just approaching half race distance, and Dorado, well, he continues to lay down the pace. He's at least a second quicker than anyone else on almost every lap, sometimes more. And really for Dorado, this is actually a really tricky point of the race for him, because you have that horrible kind of, I don't know, you have that horrible sort of dilemma, don't you, that where you think, do I ease right off and try and take no risk? But of course, if you're easing off, it's easier to lose concentration, and then you can make mistakes. It's a horrible position to be in, and that's one advantage of never being in it for me, Ryan. I know you'll have had this experience many times, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've had it a few times as well this season. In one of the leagues I race in iRacing, it's like if I'm in a good position and then there's no one behind me or no one in front, it's kind of you kind of want to back off, but like you say, if you back off too much, you lose your focus and you lose your rhythm, and you're more prone to making a mistake as you ride on the border of Rafael Dorado heading into turn 3.
Yeah, I think one thing that I try to do is not to look at the lap timer, actually. I just try to hit the marks, because I think if you look at the lap timer, you just want to beat it, don't you? It's like a kind of it's the Roadrunner and who was Roadrunner's oh god, that's terrible. Who was Roadrunner? Oh, Wile E. Coyote. So it's a bit like the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Yes, thank you to our producer Sean Ambrose, who's just saved my blushes there.
Yeah, that was. I like that analogy. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, we can't help it. And so, in fact, I'll maybe go somewhere to it's a bit more my comfort zone there, Ryan. Is of course, the great Greg Murphy, the who set the lap of the gods at Bathurst many years ago, and he said that he absolutely hated having a delta on his like a lap time delta on his steering wheel. So he made sure that he's on all his cars that the pit crew didn't fit it or switched it off or whatever, because it always put him off.
Yeah, I'm the same on iRacing now. I turn the time delta bar off because I just find I just push too much or overdrive. So I always make sure to turn it off now, and yeah, it seems to help. But looking back at the field, it looks like we've got a battle going on before it. Like, yeah, this is Kiko and Luco.
This is a close battle at the moment, but Kika looking very, very comfortable right now. And you know, the interesting is he's giving a little bit. If you watch his lines, he's giving that little bit of extra space to the wall. Very, very clever. It's not necessarily the absolute, qualifying pace, fastest way around the circuit, but he's being rewarded with that consistent drive. He's being rewarded with a strong placing right now. Is Marco Kika and Eric Lucco, to be fair, doing the same thing as well. And you almost want to give that little bit of margin from maybe your kind of hot lap pace or your qualifying pace, because the race, 24 laps around here, it's a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And just thinking about it as well, it's not really a long track when you think about it. It probably feels like you're racing around here for ages, and 24 laps just feels, for these guys, I mean, it feels like an eternity just having to fight the car all the time. And yeah, so like you say, some of these drivers are leaving extra space at the wall on the exit of some of these corners just so they don't clip it.
So we're getting a little bit of a report coming in our headsets right now that Stefan Schlacker had a technical issue with his simulator, Ryan. Apparently the throttle blipped to 100% when he was going into the corner. So he had what should we say? Should we say he had a massive technical failure? There's been quite a few drivers who have had a technical failure today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an easy thing to do. I mean, I had it on my old G27 pedals ages ago when I raced in the Camel GP series. I kept missing shifts all the time when I tried to downshift or upshift, just because I found out my throttle pedal, like one of the wires, was starting to fail.
I tell you what, I have technical failures probably once or twice a day. So many technical failures. I see when you have a technical failure and end up in the gravel, it is really disheartening.
Absolutely, yes.
You see what?
As I look at this battle between Lucco and Kika and Lucco still, and it seems to be getting a lot closer, and Lucco's closing up a lot under braking.
Yeah, as they come through Picnic Way and up towards Strand Drive alongside the beautiful Detroit River, which separates the city of Detroit and Windsor in Canada. I never realised how close it was to the neighbouring country. So I come through past the Corvette banner there as well. Corvette, of course, got quite a lot of success here, especially in Daytona prototype form. The Taylor brothers, Ricky Taylor and Jordan Taylor, won here 3 times, one of which in their Cadillac DPI, but 2 times in the Corvette DP made by Dallara.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite cars in real life, in sports car racing and endurance racing, is the Cadillac DPI, but also the Mazda DPI as well is one of my favorites, just because of that engine noise.
Oh, it's a beautiful machine. Yeah, it's very, very high revving. It sounds absolutely extraordinary, actually, in track side. But I tell you what, though, Ryan, I don't know if it would rival the noise of one of these things. The Cosworth DFV, 10,000 RPM. You can stretch out of these machines. They are absolutely amazing bits of kit. And the crazy thing is that here in Detroit was where this engine was signed off. Sir Walter Hayes of Ford Motor Company, their PR man, convinced the Ford Board of Management to basically bankroll the Cosworth DFV engine's development for £100,000, and you'd have to say that they probably got their value for money.
Pretty much. pretty much so. As Rob Onek has actually rejoined the race now, down in 20th, and his car's looking a bit second-hand, you could say.
Yeah, it looks more like it almost looks like a Whalen modified now. It's the big air cooler at the front there, the big intercooler. So, but he's up and going, and I tell you what, I love that tenacity, Ryan, that you just never ever give up. Just keep going, and of course, in a race of attrition like this, there is always, you never know with people quitting and things like that. You can keep going and gather a couple of points, which could be very, very vital. I mean, we're only just gone halfway in the season, and now, are my eyes deceiving me, Ryan, or is he crabbing down the straight?
Yeah, I was about to say that as well. It looks like he's crabbing a little bit, so I don't. Oh, is he? Yeah, he just.
Yeah,
He's
I love it.
Yeah, he's got the rear end out. That's for sure.
Wow, I love that. I absolutely love that. Great stuff from Rob Olenek there to keep the car running, keep driving. I love it. That's what we like to see. So, we go back to this battle. Still Kika holding off Loikel. And, you know, I think he's being so consistent here. He's just pressing on. And Loikel really having to hang on. And also, look who's come up in the background there. Parigi. He is in 8th place and not too far behind either.
Yeah, he's been closing up these guys really quickly. I was trying to see where he was, and I just looked in the background, and yep, there he was, and closing up on these guys. And it looks like Kika and Luca are not fighting each other too hard. It looks like they're just kind of, excuse me, at the moment, just maintaining the position at the moment until maybe like the final five laps or so. Yeah,
that's when it's going to come down to it. And at the moment, well, Rafael Dorado doing a great job. His fastest lap, a 1:26.9 out at the front. To give you an idea of the lap time back in their lap record here at Belle Isle was set by Juan Pablo Montoya in Champ Car in 2000 with a 1:13.0, an average speed of 115 miles an hour. That is an absolutely terrifying prospect.
Yeah, I think I remember watching one of his qualifying laps on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, and just watching him throwing that car around so close to the wall was just unbelievable, and probably one of the best qualifying laps that I've watched in Champ Car.
Indeed, they were big animals, those cars. So. Now, just as we thought that Kika was maybe stretching the gap, it looks like maybe Loikel's got the hurry up. He's seen Parigi in his mirror thinking, oh, I better get a move on here, no time to sit about. So, what is it, 8 laps to go? This is really an intriguing battle. Kika just covering his line there on the brakes. That was quite clever, just braking in the straight line, moving across a little bit, just to make sure that Loikel didn't have any room to surprise him. But he's right on the gearbox here, and if he can maintain it, keeping behind the driver in front through this final sector, and then making your move at the end of the first sector of the following lap.
It's getting really close now, and Parigi's getting ever so much closer, and it looks like I thought Luca was going to hit the wall there. If he can get a great run heading down the home straight and through this kink, he might be able to make a move into turn 1, but if he doesn't, I think his best chance is into turn 3.
Yeah, it's got to be turn 3, I think. And, well, Loikel, this is the closest I think he's been. Can he get the run out of turn 2 here? Looks like he has. He's right out to the wall there. He's in the draft. Can he make a move? He's probably just about close enough. Oh, is he going to run into the back of Kika here? Oh, that was close. That was very close indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a bit of a moment for you. Take a bit of breath and hope for the best. I thought Luca was going to run into the back of him or lock up, but thankfully nothing happened. And yeah, these three are so close together now. And if Luca can get a great run, he can't get a great run. He gets a bit sketchy on the exit and loses a bit of momentum.
Look who's there, Parigi. All the while this is going on, Parigi has just been edging his way up, and this could be ideal for Kika. Oh, Parigi has a little look there. Oh, that would be a big lunge there at that particular section. So Kika, this is probably what he needs for Loikel to be getting the attention of Parigi. So let's see as they come round through turn 12 up towards turn 13. This is one of the really trickiest parts of the circuits. Big bumps here on the inside. You got to watch and not pancake the wall on the outside. There it goes, and then on the power, blind entry. And well, Parigi's he's actually dropped quite a bit in that sector.
Yeah, yeah, he has, and yeah, I'm just what. Yeah, I'm just while you're watching this battle, I'm watching the battle for third place, and Togo Hasada is absolutely is closed the gap down to Yuri Geisen for third place. So it looks like they will have a battle for the final step in the podium with yeah, just going up to about just under 5 laps remaining, I believe.
Good spot, yeah, absolutely. So this is an interesting one indeed. Geisen in the number 10, interestingly, with what looked like Japanese characters on the side of his cars, and he's being chased down by Hisada. The red and white machine there you'll see just behind. They're going past a lapped car. So, interesting stuff. Of course, these cars powered, as I say, by the Cosworth DFV engine, and fittingly, Ryan, the final win for that car was here in Detroit. And actually was the final win for the eponymous Tyrrell team as well in 1983 with Michele Alboreto. So amazing how the engine was signed off here, and then its final of 155 wins was here in Detroit as well.
Yeah, it just seems to be must be a sign, but yeah, Michele Alboreto, one of my heroes when they in Formula One. He seemed to be one of those drivers that never really. He should have had a championship, but never got the chance to. Apart from, I think it was 1984, I believe it was. He could have won it.
Yeah, of course, an amazing time in Formula One then when there was the switch over from the normally aspirated motors to the big turbocharged engines, which had so much power, and qualifying engines which lasted just about a lap before they imploded. Amazing time. 5 laps to go here then at Detroit, and Hisada, he's got a bit of damage on the nose there, so he's obviously had some sort of issue at some point, so we'll see how that one progresses.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, this battle's still going on for the final step on the podium, and I'm just looking back in the field. We've still got this battle. Still got this battle P6, P7, and P8 going on between Luco, Parigi, and actually Parigi's got by Kika.
So Kika's dropped 2 places, so Loichel's got past and Parigi, and Kika, so after being so long, let's see what happened then. Let's take a replay, thanks to our producer. Now we didn't quite catch the start of that but so Kika, he's braking, minding his own business. Wait for it, bang. That's such a shame. It was such a close, clean battle up to that point, but a pretty sloppy move on the brakes there from Loichel, and then of course Parigi, he had nowhere to go and he ploughed into the back as well. So for Marco Kika, he must be furious at the moment.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that looks like I thought, is Luco coming into the pits? He's slow. Yeah, that's just so cool.
Letting him by. That's excellent sportsmanship. That is very, very honourable there from Loichel. Realised his mistake. And he's think he's got maybe a bit of damage perhaps as well, but maybe. But I think a big part of that was giving the position back. That's excellent sportsmanship indeed.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking back up at the front of the battle for P3, and Hisada is putting Geisen under huge pressure, and I think it's just a matter of if not when Togo gets a move done. But I have to say, Yuri's done a good job defending, and he's just hitting his marks and not letting the pressure get down. Hisada tries to take a sneaky look up the inside, but can't really do anything there.
Yeah, this is where it gets the pressure ratchets up. 4 laps to go. The drivers will start to be getting mentally tired now. They've got to concentrate so hard here, more than any other circuit, I think, in the world, virtually, because not only have you got the walls, you've got incredible bumps around here at Detroit. So round they go through the final corner, back on the power down the front straight. 3 laps to go. Is it going to be Geisen? Is it going to be Hisada who's going to take this final spot on the podium? Meanwhile, Rafael Dorado continues to put on his clinic at the front, a 127.5, passed him around at 23 seconds to the good, and well, he's still lapping at very hot pace, hotter than anyone else in the field, and it's been a masterclass, hasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, pretty much his best performance of the season, and yeah, Mick Clary is not around, but Rafael Dorado still had to keep it on track and just keep it clear, and he's done a great job in this race. And he's still got 3 laps to go, but he's pretty much, if he just holds on, he will take his first win of the season. And he's came so close at times this season, but he's got away with it. away from him. But the battle between P3 is still going on between Yuri and Togo.
Oh, this is very close. Good defense there from Yuri Geisen. Just a little bit later on the brakes, and a bit of a wiggle there, goes to the defensive line. Oh, this is getting very dicey indeed. This is all one line through here. You can basically park it on the apex, and there's no way to go through without contact. So, let's see. Can Yuri Geisen just hold off through this section? And oh, big wobble on the power there from Hisada. Just misses the back of Geisen, and that could be pivotal. There's about 3 or 4 car lengths between them now, so Hisada will quickly have to recover and get back onto the gearbox of Geisen.
I'm amazed that Hisada never hit the wall, but he managed to save it and regroup, and it gave Yuri a bit of breathing space. But I don't. Togo's not going to give up that easy. But I think Yuri just needs to hit his marks now and just try and maintain that gap. But you can see he's trying to move, trying to move a little bit to try and break that slipstream.
Indeed, he's trying his best without weaving about too much. You don't want to unsettle the car too much. So, interesting stuff. Geisen holding off Hisada, just 2 laps to do that. They'll get the white flag next time around. So let's take the white flag then with our leader, number 2, Rafael Dorado, in this beautiful white, blue and red machine, almost in Valvoline colours. Very nice paint scheme indeed he's got in this car, and well, not a mark on that car. He's done an amazing job here, lapping consistently, quicker than anyone else. And Brian, I have to admit, I don't know even if Mick Claridge were here, if he could have matched this pace.
Yes, that's something I was thinking about myself. And Dorado, he's pretty much matched Mick Claridge this season when both of them have raced together for pace, and Dorado has just pretty much been dominant man. I think he would have gave Mick a run for his money nevertheless. And just looking at the car as well, there's not a mark of damage, and it's pretty much pristine.
Indeed, yep. So just one more lap to go, bit of lap traffic to negotiate up there at the front. But he just looks so smooth there. That's the great thing about these Lotus 49s. They've got such a personality, and you can see the body language of the car, and you can see the way it's being driven, and you can tell just the way he applies on the brake. He just applies it very smoothly, puts the power on smoothly. Very nice indeed. Now look at this. Geisen still holding off Hisada. Now, has he done enough? We're on to the final lap. And these guys are just coming through towards Picnic Way. And so he's got one more real overtaking opportunity. So here they go, through Picnic Way, through this very tight right-hander for Geisen, and down towards turn number 7, down Strand Drive. And I think Geisen's got it done. He's got enough of a gap here. So let's go then. Rafael Dorado is your winner here at Detroit after a flawless performance. Rafael Dorado, the number 2, wins here in the Grand Prix Legends at the Belle Isle here in Motor City, with Sebastian Tizier coming home in 2nd place in that very striking number 5 machine. And there's Yuri Geisen in the background. He is going to hold on to 3rd place. If he just got 2 more corners to go to hold off Hisada, can he do it? And on Hisada's gonna, just tags the wall but can Hisada limp that car home in 4th? Yuri Geisen then rounds out the podium in 3rd. Great defensive driving from the Belgian.
Fantastic defensive driving from him, and Togo Hisada will finish in 4th after get Geisen the whole way, and Antonio Rios finishes in 5th.
Fantastic stuff. We're going to take a very short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel, and we will be right back with post-race results and interviews. Do not go anywhere. welcome back to Belle Isle, where we have just been treated to an absolute masterclass at the hands of Rafael Dorado, a thoroughly deserving winner here in the Grand Prix Legends series. And there's confirmation then, 27 seconds to the better from Sébastien Tizier, who his achievement cannot be undermined either. A brilliant drive to second place. Likewise, for Yuri Geisen, who held off a charging Togo Hosada in the final stages to claim his spot on the podium. Antonio Reis was fifth with Alessandro Parigi in sixth. A few problems for him. Marco Kika, very, very unlucky, involved in an incident that wasn't his fault, with Eric Leukel finishing eighth, Colin Bentley ninth, and John Olsen in 10th. Ryan.
Finishing in 11th was Chris Hengler, with Finland's Heikki Koivisto finishing in 12th after starting in P24, so a great result for him. Starting in 23rd and finishing in 13th was Douglas Nelson. Eugenio Massa finishing in 14th, 15th was Randy Houff. Robert Backrow Reynolds finished in 16th, 17th Andrew Eng. Rob Ulrich finished in 18th, 19th was John Van Dorn. And rounding out the top 20 was Dave Colin.
In 21st was Chris Kamikaze Murakami was 21st, Stefan Schlacker 22nd, followed by Michael Giesinger, Daniel Taski, Laust Olsen, Janne Lehmann, Kyle Graham, Mikko Laino, Taiki Miyamoto, and Ove Trangeride. So we have our winner, Rafael Dorado, joining us in the commentary box. Rafael, congratulations on what was an absolute masterclass. How are you feeling?
I'm really happy that I won. Finally, after 6 consecutive second places, I finally get the win on a feature race. So I am extremely happy, and I put a lot of effort this week because Ove was really fast during the week, during practice. He was doing 26.0 yesterday. So just because Mick wasn't here this week, it doesn't mean that the preparation was any less intense, because there were other fast guys out there, not only Ove, but also during the week, you could see other fast guys practicing. So it was really, really tough. In the end, I feel bad that Mick is not here. I mean, he's my great rival and friend. It would have been a lot better if he was here. So I am happy and sad at the same time, but really, really enjoyed the race. It was tough because this track is so difficult, and you cannot, you have to be on top of it at all times. But I'm really, really happy with the win.
Well, you should be very proud indeed. It was a champion standard drive, Rafael. And let's talk about the circuit, because obviously you were running really strong pace and got quite a good lead in the early laps. Of course, here at Detroit, you can make the smallest mistake and it can end your race, particularly in an open wheel car like the Lotus 49. What techniques do you use to try to keep your concentration throughout the 24 laps?
Well, the concentration is the mental side. I think it's the most important part in this track, because you cannot slip up at any moment. So what I do every time I catch myself thinking about something else other than driving, I try to just tell myself, just drive the car, don't think about anything, just so I snap back into the zone, and I'm not thinking about other stuff. I think that's really the key. And also, I mean, it's a track that you really need to get close to the walls if you want to be fast. So during practice, I was practicing as I would be racing. I was not taking too much risk in practice, because I know that it's better to race as you practice. And even though it was a lonely race for me, it was still very tough, because just the smallest mistake, it means a DNF in this track.
Well, you handled the challenge beautifully, Rafael. Now, before we let you go, who would you like to give a shout out to after your first win of the season?
Well, first, a big shout out to Mick Claridge, my great friend and rival in this series. I hope he comes back soon enough so we can have more great battles until the end of the season.
Well, I'm sure he is watching, and I'm sure he enjoyed that masterclass from you there. Rafael, well done, and go and enjoy your victory.
All right, thanks very much, guys.
So that was our winner, Rafael Dorado, and now we have our podium finisher, Yuri Geisen, who is with Ryan Walker.
Yuri finishing in third place, and taking his second podium finish of the season. but he didn't get it easy. He was under huge pressure from Togo Hasada in the closing stages. And Yuri, congratulations on your second podium finish of the season in the series, but that must have been hard work.
So we'll try and get Yuri Geisen in the commentary box shortly. Just a couple of technical issues to worry about there. But we do have, or we did have, Chris Hengler, who has also run off as well. Oh, he is there. Yes, let's get Chris Hengler in. Chris, welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel commentary box. How was your race today?
It was a very good one for me. P11 is my best finish so far in the series. I've been racing since the start of last season, so I think I had a bit of luck on the first lap. There was a bit of a big incident. I went right into the back of the car in front of me, but somehow got away with only superficial damage, nothing that seemed to slow the car down. So very happy with how my race went after that.
I can imagine. Of course, there was a lot going on in the early laps, lots of incidents and stuff like that. How did you manage to keep the car pretty clean throughout the race?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of contact, as I said, quite a big one at somewhere near the beginning of the race, but after that, once the pack opened up, I was thankfully able to keep away from those walls and didn't have any further trouble, which I think is the main thing on this track. When you're not fighting for the lead, just surviving is enough to get a decent result, and that certainly worked out for me today.
Eden, and final question for you, Chris. Some people love Belle Isle at Detroit, some people hate it. What side of the fence do you sit on?
Yeah, it's my first time racing here. I was not able to get the amount of practice in that I normally do this week either, but I was actually thinking of skipping the race until yesterday because I was not feeling ready at all. But I've really enjoyed the challenge. It's it's really tough, but I'd be very happy to come back here sometime.
Fantastic stuff. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming to join us in the Global Sim Racing Channel commentary box, and we'll hopefully talk to you again very soon.
Thanks for having me.
So, unfortunately, we can't get a hold of Yuri Geisen, but we will surely get him back on another broadcast very, very soon. That's about all we have time for here on the Global Sim Racing channels, but it comes to me to say a huge thank you to all the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts, and they're listed here on your screen. A major additional thanks must go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music, and you can see on the screen how to get a hold of more of her excellent work. A big thank you to the other half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker, our producer Sean Ambrose, and Dougie Beard for creating the wonderful cameras for today's broadcast. If you'd like to find out more about us here at the Global Sim Racing channel, including any upcoming races, you can find all that information at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check out our social media pages. We have a Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook, which is Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. You can even represent us at the track with some GSRC merchandise, and check out that at gsrc.storeenvy.com. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well, so that you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.